Welcome. In this video, I'm going to do a solo playthrough of Marvel Champions, the card game, with Spider-Man taking on Rhino. So first, for hero deck instruction, we're going to choose Spider-Man. So you can take his main card. See, we've got his hero and alter ego. We can set that aside. Then you can see there are 15 cards associated with Spider-Man. All those are going to be part of his deck. Next, we'll choose one of the 4 aspects. I'll choose Justice for Spider-Man. And this is the complete set of what comes in the core set. We are going to take out 4 cards, as 2 of them are max 1 per player. So we've got 1 of this card already in our deck. And then same here, max 1 per player. We already have 1 of that. And our deck size has to be a minimum of 40 cards, with a maximum of 50. So to fill this up to 40, we're going to take some of the basic cards and put these into play. Most of these are going to be max 1 per player. So we use an Avengers Mansion, Helicarrier, Strength, Genius, and these are all for resources and energy. Then as a unique ally, we'll have Mockingbird, Nick Fury, and then I'm going to put in 3 Haymaker cards. So we'll take all these and shuffle those together to create our hero deck. Now for our villain, since we're using Peter Parker, he has an obligation card. This will be part of the villain's encounter deck. So you can see the back sides of our cards are going to be blue. Counters are going to be orange. So that's going to be the first card for a villain. We are going to choose Rhino. So he comes with a stack of 21 cards. We're going to be using basic mode. So we're going to use Rhinos 1 and 2. And 3 is more for the expert version. This will be removed from the game for now. We also have our main scheme. So reading on this contents, it tells you Rhino 1 and 2, or you can use 2 and 3 for the expert mode. We're going to use standard encounter sets. So in addition to the remainder of these cards, we'll bring in the standard cards. So there's 7 of these, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They'll be shuffled in with that set, along with our eviction notice. And we get 1 modular encounter set, which is recommended to use the bomb scare. So we'll take the 6 cards with bomb scare on the bottom of them. And all these will be shuffled together to create the villain encounter deck. We'll flip this over, and this is what we're trying to do. Our whole goal is to defeat Rhino twice. So with 1 player, he's going to start with 14 hit points. When we defeat that, we'll do this one revealed effect, and he'll get 15 hit points, and we defeat him again, we win. Our lose conditions is if he defeats us, taking us down to 0 hit points, we'll lose. Or if he gets 7 threat tokens on the main scheme, we will lose the game. So this is 7 per player. We're going to be playing a 1 hero game. So 7 on that and we will lose. So we've got tokens off to the side of the board. As I mentioned before, for Rhino 1, his health is going to be 14 starting with. So we've got his health tracker there. And we're trying to prevent 7 threat from getting on our main scheme here. Our hero starts with alter ego form up. We get a hand size of 6 cards to start with. And Peter Parker starts with 10 hit points. So we've got our tracker here down to 10. We'll draw 6 cards. So we've got Aunt May, Avengers Mansion, a swinging web kick, webbed up, Jessica Jones, and a backflip. We are allowed 1 mulligan. So the fact that I've got some expensive cards, probably going to discard that one along with Jessica Jones. And I think we'll stick with these. Sure, and draw 2 more cards. Getting great responsibility and another webbed up. So the heroes start the game. So we'll start with the player phase. So we will take turns in player order, which it's a 1-player game. So here's my marker. Let me know I'm player number 1. On our turn, we can play cards, trigger and request actions. So in a solo game, won't be requesting any actions. We can use our basic attack, thwart, and recovery powers. So that's going to be on our cards. So we can exhaust to gain 3 health, or exhaust to thwart, which is removing a threat from a scheme. Attack to do 2 damage to our villain. And if we are being attacked, we can exhaust to reduce our damage by 3. Of course, our special abilities are Spidey Sense, Interrupt. So when the villain initiates attack against us, we draw a card. And as we are scientists, generate a mental resource limit once per round. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and generate a resource. I guess the proper way of doing that is I want to play this card. It's going to cost 4 resources. I'm going to use him to create 1. Then I'm going to discard these 3 cards for 2, 3, and 4 resources. So this card will come into play. So max 1 per player. As an action, we can exhaust to choose a player, which will be ourselves, and we will draw a card. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Exhaust it and draw a card, getting a helicarrier. And then I'd like to get Aunt May into play. So she'll cost 1 resource, and the helicarrier will go for that. Then going to flip to our hero form, which we can do once per turn. And then I'm going to go ahead and swing for 2 damage on Rhino, taking him down to 12 health. And just a note on Aunt May, she has an alter ego action, so I can only do that when our hero's in alter ego form. And exhaust her to heal 4 damage from Peter Parker. But we cannot go higher than our max hit points determined by our card. So that's going to end our turn there. So after all players have finished a turn, we're going to discard any number of cards from our hand, draw up to our max hand size, which will change depending on which form we're in. And then we ready all of our cards. So I have 1 card in hand that I'll keep. On this side, my max hand size is 5, so I'll draw 4 more cards. Getting 2 for Justice, a Surveillance Team, and Enhanced Spider Sense. Then we'll ready our cards. And it's time for our villain. So in the villain phase, place threat on the main scheme. And that is determined by this here. So we're going to put +1 per player. So we're going to get 1 threat on our main scheme. Then the villain and each engaged minion activates once per player in player order. So if you are in hero form, which we are, the enemies attack us. We may defend before the boost card is discarded, so we'll see what that does. If we're in alter ego form, it's going to scheme and add threat to the main scheme. Then we're going to be dealt an encounter card, and we'll reveal and resolve our encounter cards, then pass the first player token if we're in a multiplayer game. So he's going to attack, and with our ability here, when the villain initiates attack against us, we will draw a card. So getting Daredevil. He'll lay out 1 boost card. So he's going to do a base of 2 damage when he's attacking and a base of 1 scheme when he does that. We'll flip the card. We're going to ignore everything on the card except what's in the bottom right corner. So those 2 symbols there means he is being boosted by 2. So he's doing 4 damage to us, which I'm kind of okay taking this early. So we'll just go down to 6. Then we will be dealt an encounter card, and we will reveal that and resolve. So when revealed, for an alter ego form, the card gains surge, which just means we'll discard it and draw another one. But if we're in hero form, the villain's going to attack us. So he's going to initiate an attack, allowing us to draw a card, put down a boost card, and we're going to choose not to defend again. So doing base 2 attack, plus another 2, so another 4 damage coming our way. One of the cards in her hand is Backflip, has a cost of 0. It's an interrupt when we're defending, but we do not have to actually defend to use this. It's just during the defense phase. When you would take any amount of damage from an attack, prevent all of that damage, so we will take 0 damage from that. And now we'll end the villain phase, so back to our turn. Going to go ahead and use Avengers Mansion to draw a card. getting another backflip. That'll definitely come in handy later. So I'm going to put Black Cat into play, cost of 2. Going to spend these 2 resources to do that. And then she has a forced response. After you play Black Cat, discard the top 2 cards of your deck. Add each card with a printed mineral resource discarded this way to her hand. So we'll discard 2 cards. Not mineral, not mineral. And even though this is wild, we can't, it doesn't work when just revealing cards. It's looking for that specific icon. So nothing from that, but we will go ahead and use her to attack with. Now these little symbols down here means when we use them to attack, they're going to take consequential damage. This is her health. But as you can see here for her attack, she does not take that consequential damage for attacking. So we'll go ahead and do that to do 1 damage to Rhino. And then we're going to use Spider-Man to attack for 2 damage, taking it down to 9. Then we are going to flip over into Peter Parker form or alter ego. And even though we're exhausted, we can still use this ability to make our next card come in a little cheaper. So I want to play this for 2. We'll use his ability for 1 resource and pitch this one for 1. And basically it's got 3 uses. And there's play with 3 counters on it. When those are gone, discard the card. And for an action, we can exhaust this card and remove a snoop counter to remove 1 threat from a scheme. So it's going to come into play with 3 counters. And we're going to go ahead and exhaust it to remove a counter, to remove a threat from a scheme. And then Aunt May is going to give us some Tylenol. So we'll exhaust her to heal 4 damage, which will take us back up to 10. So we're at full health. That will end our turn. Do not want to discard any of my cards, so we'll draw up to 6 now that we're back in this form. So 4 more cards. Getting great responsibility, Spider Sense, the Spider Tracer, and another interrogation. Then we will ready all of our cards. And move to Rhino. So he's going to place a threat on his scheme. Since we're in alter ego form, he's going to scheme. He's going to get 1 card with his boost. So 1 plus 2, so he's adding 3. And of course with 7 we lose, so we've got 4 out of 7 there. So then we will draw 1 encounter card. So if we're in alter ego, card gains surge. Draw another card. So gain surge again. And this one, when revealed, place an additional threat here. So this is another side scheme we have coming on. It's going to make an additional threat come out every round, and it's going to start with another 2. So we're going to get 3 threat on this, and as long as this scheme is out, start of the turn, we're going to get 2 more coming out. So we'll go ahead and place another one of these out, and put 3 tokens on that. So now we've got a little pressure. So we're going to go ahead and draw a card, getting a genius. So that's going to give us 2 resources. I want to play for justice, so 2 resources. I'm going to use 1 from there, which gives us our mental, and 1 here. And I just realized this is a hero action, so I'll take that back a step. I'm going to flip over to Spider-Man. Then now I can play this as a hero action for 2 resources. And actually I'm going to use these 2 resources to give my mental. Because when I use a mental, I can remove 4 threat from the scheme. So we'll go ahead and remove all 4 threat here. Then we're going to have Black Cat thwart, taking 1 off there. But because of the symbol down here under the thwart, she will take 1 damage. She's got 2 health. We'll exhaust this, remove a token to remove another one. Then we'll have Spider-Man thwart to remove the last one. And that will remove Bomb Scare from the play, giving us some breathing room there. Well, end our turn, we can discard cards. I think I'll go ahead and get rid of that one and keep the other 3. So we'll draw 2 more. Getting more energy and a swinging web kick. Then we'll ready all of our cards. And with just the 1 scheme back in play, it will get 1 threat. Rhino's going to declare an attack, so we get to draw a card, getting some more strength. And I'm going to choose not to defend, so we're going to take 2, plus another 2, so 4 damage. Going down to 6. Then get an encounter card. So when revealed, Rhino heals 4 damage. No damage was healed this way. This card gains Surge. So he's gone from 9 back up to 13. So all this work, and we've only got 1 damage off of him. So with that said, back for our turn. Avenger's Mansion, draw a card, getting Nick Fury. So I want to play Swinging Web Kick. So hero action, deal 8 damage to an enemy. So there's going to be our 3 resources. So taking him from 13 down to 5 now. We'll go ahead and have Black Cat attack for 1. Taking him down to 4. Then we want to play Nick Fury for a cost of 4. So 4 resources. So when he comes into play, we can remove 2 threat from a scheme, draw 3 cards, or deal 4 damage to an enemy. At the end of the round, if Nick Fury is still in play, discard him. So he's going to come into play and do 4 damage to Rhino, which will take him down to 0, meaning we've defeated the first phase of Rhino. But now the second one. He's going to come back with 15 health. So we'll mark that up. And when revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for the break-in and take-in side scheme and reveal it. Shuffle the encounter deck. So we'll see if it's over here. Nope. Looking for break-in and take-in. There we go. There's that card. We'll go ahead and shuffle. Put those back out. And then this side scheme, when revealed, place an additional threat here, and it's going to come out with another 2, so we're getting 3 threat. And this symbol means it's a hazard. Deal +1 encounter card during the villain phase. So instead of 1 encounter card coming to us, we're going to get 2. So we don't want that around for long either. So then we'll go ahead and use Nick Fury to thwart. He'll take 1 damage to remove 2 there. Then we'll go ahead and use Spider-Man to thwart to go ahead and get this thing out of the way. So breaking and taking is gone. I'll go ahead and stay in hero form. Choose not to discard any cards, so we'll draw 4 more. Getting a surveillance team, Haymaker, Heroic Intuition, and a Spider Tracer. We will ready our cards. Then place a threat on our main scheme. Villain's going to attack. With our ability, we'll draw a card, getting a surveillance team. He'll get a boost, and we're going to decide to have him attack Nick Fury. So no bonus. 3 damage coming his way, which is enough to take him down. Then we'll get an encounter card. So false alarm, when revealed, you are confused. If you are already confused, this card gains Surge. That's going to be one of our status cards. So the next time this character would thwart or scheme, discard this status card instead. So we're probably done thwarting with him. Now back to our turn. Start with Avenger's Mansion to draw a card, getting Mockingbird. Have Black Cat attack for 1 damage. Use our last Snoop token to remove a threat. We'll have Spider-Man attack for 2, getting him down to 12. So I want to play Surveillance Team. So to come in with 3 counters on it. And I'll pay these 2 resources. And I'm going to go ahead and use it, taking 1 of the 3 tokens off to remove a threat. Then I'm going to flip over to my alter ego form. And Aunt May is going to heal us for 4, taking us back up to 10. Then I want to play Mockingbird for 3. So I'll use 1 from him and these 2 resources. So after she enters play, we can stun an enemy. So we will stun the Rhino. So the next time he would attack, we'll discard this status card instead. And she'll go ahead and hit him for 1, taking 1 damage herself, and taking him down to 11. We'll end our turn, keeping backflip just in case. Drawing 5 more cards. Getting the Power of Justice, Web Shooters, 2 of those, for Justice, and a Haymaker. And our cards will ready. And on to our villain. He'll get 1 threat on the main scheme. Since I'm in alter ego, he's going to scheme himself, doing 1, 2 threats. And will be dealt an encounter card. So attached to Rhino, so this is charge, going to give him +3 attack. And when Rhino attacks, the attack gains overkill, so excess damage to an ally from this attack is dealt to that ally's controller. At the end of this attack, discard charge. And that is why this card is so awesome. So that's everything for the villain phase. Back to us. We're going to draw a card. Getting great responsibility. We'll use our free resource to put a web shooter in play. So it gets 3 web counters, exhaust the web shooter, remove 1 web counter from it, generates a wild resource. And that's during our hero, or while we're in our hero form. Go ahead and exhaust here to remove a threat. And since we've got 2 hands, we'll go ahead and put in another web shooter with great responsibility. We will attack with Black Cat for 1, taking him down to 10. We'll flip over to our hero form and swing for 2, so down to 8. Then we're going to do a Haymaker, costing 2. We're going to exhaust our web shooters, remove a token from each. So with our Haymaker, hero action, deal 3 damage to an enemy. So we've got him down to 5. I'll go ahead and have Mockingbird take a damage herself to put 1 more on him. So down to 4. And I believe that's going to be it for our turn. So ready everything. We have 3 cards in hand, so we'll draw 2 more. So 1 card. Since we need to draw another one, we're going to be dealt an encounter card to reveal later. So we'll shuffle our discard pile. And our next card is a swinging web kick. So that's what we have in our hand now. 2 web kicks, which are overkill, backflip for justice, and the power of justice. So advancing the scheme. We're in hero mode, so he's going to attack, but he's stunned. So instead of attacking, we're just going to discard this card. And we're going to be dealt another encounter card, and we'll resolve the first one. So when revealed, choose to either take 2 damage or place a threat on the main scheme. We're feeling good enough, we'll take the 2 damage. Down to 8. And the second one, attached to Rhino, hero action, we can spend 3 physical resources to discard this card. Don't think he's going to be around long enough for that to matter. So just 4 health. We want to play a swinging web kick, I'll go ahead and use some web shooters first. Pitch the other one for the resource. So deal 8 damage to an enemy. And that is more than enough to defeat Rhino. So with our second villain card defeated, that will end the game. So I hope that was a good tutorial of the basics of how to play Marvel Champions, the card game. I do plan on doing several other playthroughs. Thinking maybe doing another one with the same Spider-Man deck, but take him up to expert mode just to see what happens. So the other 2 villains in the base set are the Claw and Ultron. So I'll probably do another playthrough against those, but I'll use 2 heroes instead of just 1. So that way we can see all 3 villains with all 5 heroes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. So please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.